Hello everyone. Some days before, there was a video which got everyone's attention. In that video, Tata Sons' former chairman, the great industrialist Mr. Ratan Tata, was celebrating his 84th birthday by just blowing the candles on a small cupcake. While the video received a lot of love for his simplicity, and another person also got much attention in that video. There was only one person beside Mr. Ratan Tata, and that was the 28-year-old Shantanu Naidu, assistant of Mr. Ratan Tata. So, guys, let's get into the story of Shantanu Naidu. Shantanu is a normal boy from Pune. He completed his mechanical engineering from Pune University in the year of 2014 and immediately joined in Tata Elxsi, an entry-level design firm, as a design engineer. Back then, he was a very junior engineer, which meant that he had to work night shift and he used to come back home sometimes around 1 a.m. the night, 2 a.m. the night. And he always used to ride his motorcycle. And every time he come back home late at night, at first couple of months, he used to see something in the middle of the road, which was a dead dog in the middle of the road that was run over by a car or a bike or a speeding vehicle. First, he thought this as an isolated incident because this is what happens. Vehicles speed, no street light, and dogs will come in the middle of the road and they get run over by the vehicle. That's the order of life, and that's just how it is. But as more months went by, he realized that this is happening every month, if not increasing, are definitely remaining at the same level, which means that the situation was calling out him to do something about it. So he set out to do something about this. The first thing he done was to talk with people. He set out to talk 80 to 100 people who have been close encounters or in actual accidents where they had to run over dogs they missed at the last minute, and they all of them obviously had the same thing to say, which is that they don't see the dogs at night. But a new input they gave him was they don't see the dogs early enough. They needed to see the dogs from a considerable distance to make sure that they can take time to take conscious decision to slow down or to change lines or completely stop as to save the dog's life and their own lives. And because Shantanu was a design engineer in an automotive firm, he had access to some retro-reflective materials and they used those to create collars for dogs. And because most of their group were students and he was just started to earn, they didn't have much fun. So the materials to get cheap and available, they decided to use denim pants as materials. They collected jeans, they cut them up as base materials and made 500 collars in the city of Pune, and they collared 500 dogs. Then they waited in the next few hours and they started to get these anonymous messages from people that they saw something shiny in the middle of the road and they had to slow down, and turns out it was a dog like this. And all this was validating what Shantanu and his team has done. And soon the news blew up and media houses picked up and it was getting featured. Soon enough, Mr. Ratan Tata, who is an animal activist himself, caught his attention and he became the primary investor in the startup they call Motopaws. Tata's love for animals is enormous, and in Bombay House, the historic building in the city of Mumbai that serves as the head office of Tata Group, isn't just a place for employees. Stray Dogs has a special place in that building. This shows Mr. Ratan Tata's pure love and kindness for dogs. This character is what he made interest in Shantanu's concept, and now Shantanu has created a special bond with Mr. Ratan Tata. Shantanu's family has been a generational Tata family. Starting from his great-grandfather till Shantanu serves in Tata Group. That is the kind of culture Tata Group owns, which binds the people together and carries with their family. After completing engineering, Shantanu wants to become an automotive designer. But when he said this to his father, he was not convinced. He told him if Shantanu really wants to become an automotive designer, come back with big files of why he wants to become, How can be one, and why do he think that he has something to contribute to this area? And Shantanu researched a lot, talked with a lot of people, and finally he realized that this is not a field for him. And he done the same process for MPA, and he realized that he can really contribute to this area. In 2016, Shantanu went to America to do his MBA, and he completed his MPA from Cornell University, Johnson Graduate School of Management in 2018. In this span of time, Shantanu had created a good formal and informal relationship with Mr. Ratan Tata. And after his coming back to India, Mr. Ratan Tata asked him to work with him. So, currently, Shantanu is the Deputy General Manager of Chairman's Office. He assists and manages the startups and philanthropic side of Tata. And still, he is continuing with his own startup Motopaws for the safety and rights of abandoned and stray animals. Currently, Motopaws operates in 20 cities across 4 countries, and its presence continues to grow. In 2020, he also founded On Your Sparks, a counseling platform to inspire and introduce potential entrepreneurs to the right values and foundations before they enter into the realm of startups. After starting closely work with Mr. Ratan Tata, Chandanu's mother used to tell him that he has been unknowingly listed in the page of history because he actually met the Tata and he is becoming friends to this great personality. So she used to give him all these little red notebooks to come back home and write down what happened and how exactly it happened. And then one notebook it turned into multiple notebooks. After getting more visibility in the public, he used to get thousands of messages saying that how lucky he is because everyone wants to be in his shoes. Initially, even though he considered it as a flattery, he realized that maybe keeping the privilege of Mr. Ratan Tata to himself is a little selfish because he had all these notebooks with him. And finally, he decided to share those perspectives with the world. Share Mr. Ratan Tata in a different way. Maybe people have always talked about his business milestones, his legacy, and all. But this particular side of Tata, which nobody knows, he realized that it will be really sad if he is the only person who took this into his grave. From this thought, an amazing book born, and that is I Came Upon a Lighthouse, a short memoir of life with Ratan Tata. I Came Upon a Lighthouse is an illustrated memoir of Shantanu's candid interaction with Mr. Ratan Tata over 5 years. The book is illustrated by Sanjana Desai and published by HarperCollins India in January 2021. In 2021, Shantanu also started a startup called Goodfellows that aims to reduce loneliness of elderly citizens. It will recruit young persons to assist the elderly in their day-to-day life. It will provide intergenerational friendship and calls itself as a companionship company. Shantanu started his journey with an initiative to help the street dogs and people in his locality. Soon it paved the way to who he is today. Shantanu is an example for humanity, and the courage to take initiative to protect humanity can bring a person to the pinnacle of success. Also, he is a motivation to many youngsters to take such initiatives. I hope you all liked Shantanu's story. Thank you.